Welcome. You're listening to Parts and Charts, the IFS and Astrology Podcast. I'm Chelsea Owens, an artist and licensed marriage and family therapist specializing in internal family systems, and one of my spiritual gifts is the ability to balance depth and fun.
And I'm KP Kaszabowski, a poet, filmmaker, and astrologer who seeks pathways to fully loving myself and others, and the language for what is happening underneath the surface.
Together, we explore how inner parts and planetary archetypes speak to one another. Whether you're new to IFS or astrology or deep in your own integration practice, we're glad you're here. Hello, and we're back, and it's Leo season, and we're all giggles. We're all giggles and sunshine. Even though it's Mercury retrograde and we've had like 500 communication technology issues this morning. That's okay. We're here. We're having fun. We're going to do what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. Welcome. We're going to have a fun little episode in our Zodiac Archetype series. This is part 2. Part 2 of the series is Leo season, baby. It's my Mercury and Leo doing the intro.
And you're rising, and you're wearing a gold necklace, and your hair is blonde.
And I've got my, like, I don't know, jungle. I think there's some colors on this dress. Yeah.
Very Leo.
Yeah.
Okay, so the purpose of this episode is to, like, feel around the archetype, because all of us have every single of the 12 Zodiac archetypes inside of us, which is really important to acknowledge because Leo, ruled by the sun, is inside of all of us. So even if you don't have any placements in Leo, there is a part of you, there are many parts of you that are expressing that energy in different ways, of course. So I think it's helpful to maybe do just the basics of Leo before we get into talking about how we use energy in our lives and our practices and that kind of thing. Leo is a fire sign. So I think the elements are more easily understandable. There's 4 elements to all of the zodiac signs. There's fire, earth, water, and air. So Leo's fire. And fire signs tend to be bolder, brighter, full of inspiration, that kind of warmth energy. It's pretty literal in that way. And it's a fixed sign. So there's 3 kinds of modalities. So there's initiating or cardinal. Those are the signs that go and get them. They're at the beginning of every season, so they usually start things. That's the energy. And then fixed signs are in the middle of the season. And then the last part of the season is a mutable sign. Mutable is changeable, shifting. We're getting ready to move into the next sign or next season, sorry. So the other fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. All of them have that quality of being in the middle, sustaining energy, solidifying energy. We were talking earlier that Leo, of all the fire signs, tends to be firm or has this impression that they're longer lasting or they're more self-assured about what they're doing in this world. Where maybe Aries, another fire sign that our cardinal sign or initiating sign would be more of using the fire energy to go and get something, go and do something. And Sagittarius, the mutable fire, is more of the looking out and shifting and listening and growing in different cultures, theologies, philosophies, that kind of thing. So Leo has this more earthy energy, and Chelsea brought that up before we started recording, that Leo is very calming, soothing, assuring, I think is a really good word for Leo. Okay, so other things about Leo, when the sun is in Leo, those are the dates of July 23rd to August 22nd. And planets can move through the sign of Leo outside of when the sun's in Leo, but that's helpful to know that Leo season, we're talking about the sun being in the sign of Leo in the sky. In the metaphorical sky. In the literal sky, it's different, but that's a whole other topic. And I think this is a really good overview, so we'll start discussing it. but I think it's helpful for me as an astrologer and also someone who's like pretty consistently self-examining myself. Um, when I look at a zodiac sign, I like to think about the opposite zodiac sign to get more insight on like how they're working in a spectrum or in a polarity. So the Leo archetype is directly opposite from the Aquarius archetype. And the Leo zodiac sign is ruled by the sun. So there's this like warmth, luminary energy where like all life comes from with Leo energy. And the opposite sign, Aquarius, is ruled by Saturn, which is the planet that is the last planet we can see with our naked human eyes. And Saturn is very cold, very far away, distant. And Aquarius tends to be highly observant, often isolates himself in order to see something more clearly. And then once they see things clearly, they come back to society and share what they've observed or felt or thought. So it's a very different experience to me in my mind, but both of them have a lot to do with like supporting people or humanity, like humanity at the core. Like Leo is like, I am a human and I am here proudly expressing my human life. And Aquarius, I'm also a human and I'm here to support what it means to be a human, but it's in different ways. So I think that's important to bring up that it's an interesting way to think about a sign is putting it up against
Is
its
it?
opposite. Okay, so those are the basics. I'm curious how you listen to or use or respond to Leo energy in your life. Chelsea Owens.
Okay, huge question. Where do I even begin? Well, as you know, yeah, I have what, Mercury, my ascendant, and moon, right?
Yeah.
Looking to you like the authority. In Leo. So and that's like that's the most planets I have in one
Yeah.
sign. Is that correct? Yeah.
I believe that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think it's really present for me in my performer, my probably some of my speaking parts, or like the confidence,
Yeah.
maybe the wackiness. I don't know. And yeah, just like I guess maybe the bold expression of whether it's speaking or art, right?
Yeah.
Playfulness, my playful
Yeah.
parts. Like I just kind of like want to laugh and be goofy and have fun.
Yeah. When I think about Leo, I mean, I think about you often when I'm contemplating the archetype because
Yeah.
of your like potency in Leo energy. The Leo rising definitely is the major part of you that obviously shows up first. The ascendant
You
or
think
the
so?
first house in Leo is like, okay, this is usually what we see about people first.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think about how Leo is like the performer in that they're so aware of and they've played with their own persona, their own selfness, that they can step in and put on masks of other selves more easily than other people. This is great
Yeah.
generalization.
So they're
But
good actors. Yeah.
yeah, because they're so aware of what it means to be a part or a person or a role, they can play other roles in similar ways. And it's fun and it's playful to do that. Where I think people who don't have as much access to their self, this is not this is
Yeah.
not a negative thing. I feel
Yeah.
like I personally tend to like float between personas because I have less awareness of myself as a self. And that's a whole
Oh,
different topic
okay.
as a Libra sun, where
Uh-huh.
like I usually sit and listen first and respond, where Leo energy is like, no, I am. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to respond because I am. Like this is what I think and what I feel and what I'm seeing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like there's
Mm-hmm.
this confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I lack confidence. That's a major thing, but I do listen.
Yeah.
And I have no Leo placements, like at all.
Really?
Yeah. But everyone has Leo energy,
Yeah.
and we can talk about this later, but my Leo energy, I have great access to as a writer and as an artist
Yeah.
because Leo rules my eighth house. And an important, I think actually this is where we should go here, is that everyone with their Leo energy in their house ruled by Leo is ruled by the sun. Everyone has a sun sign. So your Leo energy is like embodied and moving around like the sun around your chart at all times. And in your birth chart, you have your sun placement. So like if you're born in July, early July, you're a Cancer sun.
Mm-hmm.
Your Leo house is intricately in like connected to whatever your sun is doing in your chart
Mm-hmm.
because the sun rules Leo.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I get to access my Leo energy is through my Libra sun in my 10th house of visibility, which is a very Leo thing, is like being visible, being present, letting people enjoy you, letting people see you. That is so Leo. But the way I feel it is through the Libra archetype, which we'll get to in 2 months. So I'm curious what this is like bringing up for you, or what's making you think of.
Huh. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I'm just like letting that sink in. I don't know if I have any like immediate thoughts.
Yeah. What's really interesting about you is that your moon is
Yeah.
ruled by your sun.
Yeah. Right.
So your moon is in Leo, ruled by your sun. Your sun is in Cancer, ruled by the moon. So they're like doing it. It's called a
Flip-flopped.
mutual. It's amazing. It's a mutual reception. So the two luminaries in our astrological system are mutually receptive to each other and working with each other, which is true about
Oh.
if we're looking at the external world as well. Is that like the sun and the moon are so like they're partners, right? The
Yeah.
moon relies on the sun to reflect. I
Yeah.
don't know how the sun relies on the moon, but
Uh, I mean, I think they do. They have a reciprocal relationship, right?
yeah,
They need each other to exist. Yeah. Um, yeah, I what I find maybe more compelling about Leos, like I said, that little post I saw yesterday about Leo being the most earth of the fire signs, um, feels true for me. Like
yeah,
because I have one Capricorn placement, like one of the farther out ones, but other than that, I really don't have a ton of earth in my chart. Yet, like people always comment on how seem so grounded and I seem so calm and like I'm sure that has a lot to do with other things about me, or just how I've been socialized or trained as a therapist. But uh, yeah, I really do. Now that I'm thinking about that, I'm like, okay, Leo is grounded. Like I know a lot of Leos who aren't showy, who aren't like the loudmouth in the room, who aren't like just like look at me,
yeah.
or everything's about me. Uh, yeah, they're just super grounded folks who maybe want to be noticed, but it's super subtle. Um, and and yeah, they're calm. They can be quiet. I know a lot of quiet Leos, but
Mhm.
I think like outwardly maybe they're a little bit more quiet, but inside like they're doing stuff, or they're
Right.
still they still want to be known for something, but it's kind of behind the scenes work. It's a little bit like BTS and not like I'm on stage performing.
That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense to me. Part of why we want to do this archetype series is to like demystify the really unhelpful stereotypes,
Hmm.
especially if we're thinking about it in like a setting where we're focusing on developing and integrating and caring for all parts of ourselves. It
Yeah.
is not helpful to be told that Leos are selfish or
Yeah.
Leos are bad at listening. Like it's not helpful, because the archetype, the core energetic um, blueprint of Leo is like we can talk about the positives and negatives and neutral, but it's not that they're selfish or
Yeah.
bad at listening. Um,
Mm-hmm.
There's also just like in a side note, like when a Leo has a fourth house sun, so if you're thinking about the 12 houses, if Leo has a fourth house sun, they tend to be more internal or quieter as a Leo. So like where a Leo's sun is in their chart really does up like extra because of their Leo being ruled, their sun being ruled by Leo, ruled by the sun. Like their sun is super important because of that.
Yeah.
Wherever their sun is placed really does express externally in that way. So like your more introspective Leo friends likely have their
Oh.
fourth house, possibly. Or
Oh.
maybe there's a connection to another planet that's doing that. Um, but I think about Leo, the Leo archetype, or people who have lots of Leo energy. It's that they're really concerned with developing themselves as a being.
Yeah.
I see people who have lots of Leo energy. There's a lot of like they journal a lot, they create a lot. Like there's that like active introspection because they're so inherently fascinated with the self. And like self as a word is really, really important in IFS and really, really important in the Leo
Yeah.
archetype because we get this one finite life. And Leo, with that fixed energy, they are really concerned with like, well, what parts of me are consistent? Which parts of me are fixed? How can I get to know those parts and what parts of me aren't fixed? What can I play with? Like, and there's comfort in both with that Leo energy. There's comfort in knowing that, oh, I'm always 5'10", or like whatever your height is that may
Yeah.
not, like, what are the constants of a person? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm brainy, and like owning the braininess and not stepping away from your character traits, your personality traits, but also being open to the fact that your traits and your skills and your talents shift and grow throughout your lifetime. So I do see that
Mhm.
in Leo people is that like, oh, they love to go to the edges or they love to go far into their identities. Like if they're a runner, they're like, well, what kind of runner? What kind of runner can I be? Like they, that is really exciting to them. And
Mm.
I don't see that as selfish unless it gets to a point where they are neglecting all other parts of their life to explore this
Sure.
one identity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Yeah.
that's an expression of maybe obsession or something, which is pretty common with Leo energy too, is being so obsessed with their talent. Like if we're thinking about Picasso,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
um, I think he was a Leo rising, not a he's a
Ah,
Scorpio sun, I believe.
yeah.
Yeah, he was really obsessed with his name, um, and going to the farthest point of being as excellent as genius as he could be,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is exciting.
That's interesting. So, do you think that if like if for immutable signs, like they wouldn't be as concerned, or they wouldn't be trying to figure out what parts of them are fixed? Like they'd be more concerned about, or maybe not even concerned, but there's just more change and more um I don't know,
Yeah,
fluidity between parts.
I really, yes, I think there's something to look into with that. It's like also this like receptivity to change. Yeah, so there's more like an openness to like, well, maybe this year I'm a painter and the next year I am a dancer and next year I'm a
Oh,
mom. Like there's more of a ability to shift your identities with mutable energy.
okay.
And I find it fascinating when there's like a really potent Leo person who also has like Sagittarius or Pisces
Yeah.
or Gemini like
Oh, Gemini.
you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this like desire to be fixed and explore that. And then also I see in you that Gemini and Venus, like, but you're very floaty and playful with how you express yourself or how you show your love to people. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a beautiful balance.
A balance, yeah. Hmm.
Balance. My A's come out with you even harder.
It's so beautiful. Um, What I also found interesting, what you said earlier, though, I'm still like this hypothesis, or it's not a fully formed thought yet, but I think it's really interesting that you said something about having like more access to self, like for a Leo who has maybe more developed sense of self, or like this like sun self identity. Um, like I'm just thinking of like that sun energy, like giving all these different parts or actors or roles in the system like energy, giving them like, yeah, just like powering them up with the sun so that it's just easier to feel, I don't know, confidence, or feel like okay playing all these different roles and kind of switching between them. um Maybe more so than someone who doesn't have as much sun energy, or even self energy developed. Like you said, like there's a lot more just floating between parts without awareness of the parts, or awareness of what is going on, or awareness of like even their roles. um
Yeah.
just like switching, because that's what most of us do in life. um when we're not super aware of a part being a part, or that we're even like that we have different energies, that we
Yeah.
even show up to this conversation and I'm talking a lot, or I'm defensive, um and then
Yeah.
I hang out with this other person and I'm playful and I'm joking around and I'm
Yeah.
sarcastic, right? Or and then I'm with this other person and I'm quiet. So
Yeah.
we do that all day. We shift into these different roles depending on who we're around. I think some people maybe have a little bit more like, I don't know, consistency perhaps, or it. But I'm just wondering, like, if yeah, if there's something about Leo's having just like, yeah, maybe this like sun, this core source that they draw from in order to be okay in switching to all these different roles, but then kind of, I don't know, having a solid center or something like that. Maybe that's on
I,
the like more healthier
yeah.
developed side, or spectrum of Leo energy.
I'd be really curious about that. If I saw an emphasis of Leo in a client's chart, like maybe even like forthright asking, like, how do you feel about
Mm,
this concept? Like,
yeah.
is it
Mm-hmm.
disconcerting when you do switch roles or expressions? I'm thinking about a really good friend of mine who she's a writer, so I know a lot of her internal thoughts.
Mm,
She's a Leo sun, and she has been concerned with being a chameleon in
mm-hmm.
settings. And I wonder if because she has such great access to her self energy, she's more sensitive to when she's not acting as herself. Um, so there's like there's greater access, then also maybe greater discomfort when not acting in self. So there's maybe something to think about with clients who have lots of Leo energy.
Yeah, I feel
Um,
like a chameleon quite often.
yeah,
Yeah. Maybe like less so now, as I'm getting older, but I definitely have felt that like the ability to also just read people and read a
yeah,
situation, like reading the room, and almost like knowing what I need to be in that moment, just from
yeah,
picking up on other people's energies. And um, whether I need to be the performer, like like I saw some family members last weekend who I hadn't seen for a while, and I showed up and I was completely a ham. Like I knew it. I was being funny intentionally, like
mhm,
talking a lot, taking up a ton of space, and like making everybody laugh. But like I knew going into it, like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do, and I can completely turn it on.
yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah,
and and then yeah, I can be around somebody else and completely be like quiet and shy, and um, or I'm around spiritual friends and I can really just like let my spiritual stuff fly. and
yeah,
and then I'm around maybe some other friends who aren't into spirituality, and I'm we're cracking jokes or like talking about reality TV, just like really, I don't know, surface stuff. And maybe I'm talking about something universal. Maybe everyone does this, but I feel like for me, it shows up. Um, maybe, yeah. And it leaves me feeling like, not like, who am I really? But I do feel like sometimes I wish I had more consistency, or I'm like, well, what if I played with being this way with those people instead? Or like kind of crossing some of those identities and seeing what happens. Like, what if I showed
Yeah.
up with my non spiritual friends and I'm talking about tarot, and what would happen? I know they'll make fun of me or whatever, but yeah, I guess playing with that a little bit more and seeing what happens, seeing if it's okay. And
Yeah.
yeah.
This is making me think of my grandfather, who's a Leo sun. I don't know any of his other placements because back then they didn't have birth certificate data.
Wow.
I mean, they had some, but he, almost everyone in that family, his family, that side of my line, has a significant Leo placement. And what they say about that family is that no one can get a word in edgewise because all of them are gifted storytellers.
Gifted
And you can
gifts.
rely on it. Like you
Mm.
go to an outing with one or all of these people, and you're going to be laughing. You're going to like feel doted upon in some way. You're going to feel appreciated. You're going to feel entertained, and it's just like palpable and it feels so easy for them.
Mhm.
And often they retell the same stories over and over and over, but it's still so fun. Like
Yeah.
at least that's my perspective, and that's Leo archetype energy for me. And again, all of
Oh.
us have Leo inside of us. It's harder to choose how we tap into it if we don't have it, the Leo energy with the planetary placements. So I'm thinking about you saying this, and your Leo energy is Mercury, which is known for changing, and the
Oh.
moon, which is known for changing. So there's this more of a fluidity, or like you can adjust to the situation, and that's how your Leo energy expresses itself. Though
Mm-hmm.
the Leo energy at its core, at its essence, is constant, right?
Mm.
Like it's the Leo energy, the fixed energy, the fire energy, the warmth, the
Mm-hmm.
generosity, like that's always there. And
Mm-hmm.
that's true for me in my experience with you, is that like I always feel that like undercurrent of generosity and warmth.
Aw.
But your Leo energy is expressed again through the changeable, the really quick moving planets. That's what I'm hearing when you say that. It's like maybe this is a universal experience, maybe it isn't, but I think this is your Mercury and Moon showing up.
Oh.
Because like
Yeah.
Moon's also like really good at listening and vibing and like adjusting to the mood, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And your Sun is in Cancer, so that's also like your sense of self is really responsive and receptive and caring, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And my Leo energy, I don't know how it expresses necessarily, but it's like in my loins, the eighth house, like
In my
those
loins.
places.
Ooh.
My generosity is you have to have a key. I don't know.
I don't know. That's sweet.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm also interested in the opposites, like we were talking about with Aquarius, and how, yeah, I guess maybe talking more about how that would show up for people in, yeah, just looking at their own charts where their Leo's at, and how the opposite shows up too. And I'm curious, like how we connect that to parts as well.
That's
Maybe, yeah,
interesting.
for me too.
Yeah.
I'm because so that would be Jupiter's my seventh house, right?
In
Yeah,
Aquarius, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's really interesting because so if we're conceiving of the circle in 12 different parts, those are the houses. Every house pertains to a different part of being alive, and sometimes not being alive, but human experience.
Yeah.
So wherever Leo is in your chart, and I'm not going to go through all of them because that is going to be a three-hour episode, but wherever Leo's in the chart is where you're more likely to experience like proximal adoration, care. The Leo energy is very much about like, I am alive, appreciate me, let me appreciate you being alive. Like there's so much of that. Like I said, the word doting, like Leo energy is so doting.
Yeah.
And Leo, people with prominent Leo placements like thrive when they get to dote on someone else, and also when they're being doted upon. Like that exchange is really, it gives them life.
Yeah.
It gives a lot of people life too, and we need that. But there's also a lot of discomfort with being doted on in this world as well. So then I'm thinking about maybe the opposite house, the Aquarius house, is where we feel discomfort with being perceived or being like the spotlight on us, right? Like it's better if we like kind of sink into the collective with our Aquarius energy, or we're working for people we don't necessarily know. I'm thinking about like Gloria Steinem. Like, so I don't know her chart offhand, but so much of her life was fighting for the greater good, for people that she will never know or meet or benefit from in any way, right? I wonder if she has Aquarius placements. Now I'm curious. But so maybe that's the dichotomy, is like, what is so proximal, what's so consistent, what's so close, what's so about our singular identity selves? That's the Leo part.
Yeah.
The other side is, where do we kind of dissolve into the collective? That can show up in so many different ways. These polarities are such a helpful way, I think, to talk about parts as well. It's like, well, what does this part want? And maybe it has something to do with the other side of the coin. Not that everything is 1 and 2, right? But it can be helpful to think about it that way.
Yeah, totally. And that's why we're going to have a full episode on opposites.
Yeah. We don't know the date yet, but
someday coming up.
Yeah. It's a good one.
You know, one of our favorite inspirations and a beautiful illustration of Leo is our favorite poet, Ross Gay.
Oh no, we're mentioning
it. We love. I know. I just had to send the name and you're blushing.
I know. He's incredible.
But, right? I feel like just, you know, I saw him at City Arts and Lectures a couple months ago, and just being in his presence, just like what a beautiful illustration of like joy and sunshine and like articulation. And I realized too that some people, like, I was so taken with that energy, and I was like, God, that's so fun to be around. And I think that can be hard for some folks, just like you were saying about receiving the doting, or receiving the praise, or receiving, or just being around someone who's joyful and cheerful and sun.
Yes.
And I've noticed that in my life too, like especially with like maybe more so dating life, or like guys that I've been around who, you know, for their own whatever, had their own stuff going on, like depression, anxiety, all that kind of stuff. Not to minimize it, but it was hard for them to be around my sun energy sometimes, and I would just want to do the utmost to like make them feel better and cheer them up and be the sun for them. And I like totally doting, probably overgiving, like it wasn't healthy in those situations, but it was hard for them to receive. And it would, you know, even if I was just trying to like juice them up, like, you're so amazing, you're so good at everything, you can do anything, you know, just completely being the cheerleader, like they could not receive it. They were like, why are you so cheerful? Like, why are you saying this? This isn't true. Or, you know, just completely shutting it down. It was so hard to receive. And I think that's pretty true for a lot of folks. Like, it's hard to receive compliments. It's hard to receive the sun energy sometimes. Yeah.
I hear that all the time with clients of mine who have prominent Leo placements, that they rub up against people who in whatever way, just cannot receive that sun energy.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's such a pain or
Yeah.
an ache that some Leo prominent people feel. Is like, well, I'm
Yeah.
just like, I'm
Be
doing
myself.
what I can to enjoy my life. Like I think
Mhm.
there's just like this awareness that we're only here for a very short time, and we can choose to enjoy it or we can choose to like waste it.
Yeah.
And it's never that simple. But the Leo prominent people tend to come off like they're living their best life, and that can grate against people who are really struggling.
Totally, right? Even when like we want to shine for others, like,
Right.
like I really want everyone I know and everyone I don't know to succeed, and like
Yeah.
I will amp you up because I truly like I want to see you happy, and I want to see you like thriving. Like I
Yeah.
want to give my sun energy away to people who don't, have the sun.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think that it can even rub people the wrong way or like feel maybe like it's not genuine to some
Yeah.
folks, or they don't relate to that energy, or they're so far away from it that it maybe feels inauthentic or something.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I've always noticed about folks maybe thinking I'm not being totally genuine when I show up super sunny and like cheerful
Hmm.
and excited, or like just helping other people to be themselves and cheering them on. People can sometimes think that's being fake, or
Yeah.
just like not coming from a real place within, but it like so is. um I think for some folks it's just so hard to relate to that it's kind of foreign.
This makes me think of like how in I am speaking from a place of no expertise here. I'm going to say that up front, but in
Bible
environments,
scholar, Bible scholar only.
read the Bible very 0 times, basically. Um, that's a reference to previous episodes where I talked a
Yeah.
lot about Jesus. Um,
Episode 3.
but in like environments where if a person has pride for themselves or it has a lot of access to their self energy,
Yeah.
everything else would crumble because there's like emotional decay or manipulation or something. That this is what it makes me think of is when people are taught to shy away from sun energy or to distrust it, it's
Yeah.
usually because sun energy would crumble the dynamic.
Mhm.
When we want everyone in this world to have great access to their self energy, right?
Yeah, totally.
But that's a threat to unhealthy dynamics when someone knows what they need and what they want.
For sure. Yeah. Institutions would crumble.
Yeah.
Society would crumble. I
Yeah.
know. Right?
And I
Yeah.
think a lot of children in this world are brought up that way. So then they become adults
Hmm.
and they meet someone who has self energy or sun energy. Then like, well,
Yeah.
you're not what I was taught is good.
Yeah.
Even though pride in oneself, I think we can all agree is a good thing, but
Yeah.
in in play, in action, it's threatening to a lot of
Hmm.
people.
Totally. Yeah. Hmm. And
That's scary.
yeah. And let's say, like, particularly maybe people socialized as women,
Hmm.
um, how, like, how far back we can take that idea of like, yeah, kind of women, shouldn't have pride, or
Yeah.
um shouldn't even know themselves. Just
Yeah.
the fear of what happens when women have pride or know their power. Yeah.
Yeah.
And hmm
Or we're thinking about like immigrant cultures in America,
hmm
like when pride of their immigrant identity is expressed, hopefully it's met with like
hmm
tender loving care, but it's not often.
hmm yeah.
um yeah, so
Yeah,
that's what brings to mind is like, why would someone shy away from Leo energy? Well, they weren't taught it was safe.
totally. Yeah. I think there's so
Yeah.
many structures in place in order to keep people from knowing, having an identity or knowing themselves, um, so that all of the, powers that be can continue, right?
Yeah.
Ugh.
So then we go to, I say this all the time, like, we love to shit on Geminis because I think
Not
in our
we,
culture, we are not
but
okay with changing our minds,
mm-hmm.
right? Like, but
Mm-hmm.
when you get new information, you should be able to change your mind. That's Gemini
Yeah,
energy. And we
totally.
shit on people who are selfish or too into themselves, right? Because
Yeah,
our culture is
yeah,
afraid of Leo energy.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
treat Leo energy like it's a no-no, or like, I mean, parts of Leo
Mm.
energy for sure, but I think we shit
Yeah,
on Leos because of that. And that's not fair.
that's so true. Yeah. And I think that there is yeah, maybe on the far extreme of like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's selfishness, or like maybe also the fear is that if you're too self-involved, right, then you're not concerned about the collective. Or
Right.
if you yeah, are just focused on yourself, you're not going to, care about humanity. Or there's such a fear of like too much self-focus and what that would
Yeah.
do, right? Even in religious traditions, I think like
Yeah.
some really value like knowing thyself, and some are like you should be a selfless motherfucker and
Right. But
not
then,
have a self because you need to be a part of the collective. And it's like, yes, but also you need to completely know yourself in order
yeah.
to be in the collective.
Yeah. You need
Right,
to
so that
feel your own joy and pleasure in order to give joy and pleasure to other people. Like
yeah.
that's key, but we're taught to um, deny the
Mm-hmm.
self so that we can be of service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a major thing I think of our generation that we've explored. It's like
Yeah.
we can't be on fire and also help people who are on fire. We
Yeah.
have to put our own fires out, take care of
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. It's not just like putting fires out. It's like we must foster a great and
Mm-hmm.
healthy connection with ourselves in order to then be a teacher, be a
Mm-hmm.
doctor, like whatever we need to do in this world
Mm-hmm.
to be of service. We can't do it the other
Mm-hmm.
way around. But we were taught to
Yeah.
do it the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
So we need Leo energy.
We
We
love
need
it.
more of it.
We need more Leo workshops. We need more Leo
um,
leaders.
Earlier you used the word articulation.
Yes.
I think that's one of the other things I wanted to touch on in this episode is that
Mm.
because Leo energy is so fascinated with one's own way or one's own being, there is a greater articulation of what you yourself thinks, feels, experiences. So going back to Roski, I'm going to blush again. I find him so fascinating as a writer
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he is so aware of how he is in the world that when he's observing, he can tell the story from his voice. And before I heard him read his own poetry or his, he has nonfiction as well. Before I heard his voice read his poetry, I had a very different experience of me reading his language on the page.
Really?
And I think that
Hmm.
has a lot to do with Leo energy is that like your whole body and your voice, your expression is being tied up into this like moment so that when I am the audience experiencing what he's telling me, I'm getting the full picture.
Mm.
Where maybe other archetypal zodiac like signs aren't as great or as quickly articulating their experience. I don't know if that's true, but
Interesting. Yeah.
I see the source of being able to articulate oneself really well as a Leo person is
Mm-hmm.
because they are so aware
Mm-hmm.
of their experience and they've spent their whole life doing that. And I love to read Leo dominant people's memoirs and
Oh,
poetry, especially if they're speaking from the I. And
yeah.
for like Hemingway also was a Leo sun, and
Really.
his fictions often were like direct experiences of his that he
Yeah.
fictionalized.
Yeah.
And I think he did that really incredibly. We could talk about other parts of him as a person. His the sun also rises. Like that's like
Mm-hmm.
probably one to one his experience, but it was
Yeah.
well, not one to one. There's some things that obviously weren't his life, but
What a Leo title for a book.
the sun also rises. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Who are some of your other favorite memoirs that you've read? of Leos
Hmm.
off top of
It's
hand?
hard to think of them on the spot.
Madonna.
I find that a lot of really memorable entertainers and writers have a Leo sun or Leo dominant energy.
Yeah.
Um, wow, I can't think of a name. I mean, Jennifer Lawrence is a Leo,
Oh,
and
love
she
her.
definitely has like
Yeah.
like that oomph, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
she says things and she's like kind of okay with just saying it because she knows that like it's coming from her. I don't know. That's how my feeling of her.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have someone that comes to mind that's Leo energy?
Trying to think. Who are some of my favorites? Um,
Rita Kahlo is a Leo rising,
Leo
Cancer sun like
rising.
you.
Yeah. Gosh, I maybe I need to. Yeah, we'll make a list of
Yeah.
some memoirs we'll read together
Okay.
as a community book club.
Some show notes.
Yeah, because I think you're onto something there. And I'm like blanking on my favorite Leos right now. Um, yeah, maybe trying to think of some artists that I love who I know are Leos. I can't right now.
Maybe to wrap up this episode, we can talk about like when we're working with clients,
Hmm.
what we do when we sense someone has a great sense of self, or in my context as an astrologer, like if I see someone who has a lot of Leo energy, what are questions I ask? So first,
Yeah, I'm
like,
curious about that. Um, well, I'm also curious, like maybe what some of the more shadowy aspects of Leo are,
yeah.
and if I would be noticing some of those things too.
Okay. So that I have a lot to say about this then.
Yeah.
So there's like the famous Leos in history, like Napoleon, and I'm not remembering anyone else right now, but there's a lot of really stark examples of Leo sun men who have been
Yeah.
leaders in history who have caused a lot of pain,
Yeah.
um, usually
Mhm.
war. So there's
Yeah.
this that's the shadow part of Leo is like shadow is like the Leo energy is like there's tends to be an authoritative or authority energy because
Yeah.
they're so like they're a self. They're playing a
Yeah.
role in the world, right? They
Yeah.
also take responsibility more than other archetypes, which is an interesting concept because there's that fixedness, the constancy. Like they may take responsibility for what went well and also
Yeah.
what went poorly,
Okay.
um, and that can have a shadow side with like, well, like they're okay with taking responsibility for what went well and what went poorly, but that allows them to keep going because like,
Mm-hmm.
well, what do you do after taking responsibility? You keep
Mm-hmm.
going. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense, but
Yeah. Obama,
yeah,
Leo.
Leo sun Aquarius rising, which is interesting.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it does. I the hope
Mm-hmm.
energy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, shadow energy is like maybe taking too much power or too much authority than one should ever have, because Leo energy feels like they can take power and
Yeah.
authority, that confidence, that
Yeah.
access to self and ability. Yeah, let's
Do
stick
you
with
think
that.
there would be even like just a lower sense of self or less developed sense
Or
of
or
self?
too obsessive with being a self.
Oh,
And
okay.
so it's like
Interesting.
you're so excited, you're so obsessed, you're so interested in yourself that it does become what preoccupies you.
Like almost narcissism.
I have issues with that term
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
culturally, because it is a pathological diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that that term has been misconstrued because of its overuse.
Yeah.
That's my one of my soapboxes. So
Mm-hmm.
narcissism is something that is used to bring down Leo energy. That word,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but if we're using it not in the clinical word, it's like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, self obsession,
Mm-hmm.
Losing oneself because you're so obsessed with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or pride, like the shadow side of pride is being really easily hurt
Mm-hmm.
if someone doesn't um, praise you or doesn't appreciate something you've done or doesn't tell you you look good today. Like that's the shadow side of that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like looking for the validation externally, and when it doesn't come, it hurts. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. I
so that
mean,
that that can be a challenge for people with lots of Leo energy. Is like to make sure to remind yourself that your validation has to come from yourself.
mm-hmm.
And the icing on the top, like the extra, is if someone else also appreciates or
Mm-hmm.
praises you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I
Mm-hmm.
have seen a lot
Yeah.
of Leo dominant people get stuck in that cycle of like, oh, well, this person didn't, or this person didn't, or like I changed my
Yeah.
hair
Yeah.
color and they didn't notice. Like that can be something. Yeah.
Aw.
That's
Yeah.
pretty universal, I would say.
Totally. I mean, yeah, there's some of that that's just like I just it feels good to be noticed and you know, or maybe
Yeah,
I'm feeling invisible. Um and yeah, I would assume that like there's wounds there. Like
yeah,
if something's getting triggered and you know, maybe it's corresponding to some Leo placement. Something's getting triggered that's like just rubbing salt in this wound of like maybe something, you know, maybe something traumatic, maybe something around childhood, maybe something you didn't get. Um, maybe it was relationship to caregiver or not, but something that feels tender. And
yeah,
um, yeah, so I'd be curious, you know, if somebody came in with something or they're expressing some of the things that you just shared, like yeah, we would check that out because that's my first inclination is to
yeah, for sure.
you know, there's something there that's like feels really childlike and feels really like sad. And
Yeah,
yeah, like there's just some needs not that weren't met, not getting met.
this feels really similar to like when Leo energy is being rejected by someone else who has rejected Leo energy in their own
Yeah,
self,
for
and
sure.
how it feels so hard. I don't know. I'm thinking about some friends who have a lot of Leo energy that like
Yeah.
have literally been like yelled at by
Yeah.
someone because of them just being themselves.
Yeah.
Um, and
Me.
that's so wounding. Yeah, it's so wounding to like, well, but this is my expression. Like, what do you mean? You
Hmm.
know?
Yeah. 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 I was once told I laughed too much by one guy that I dated.
Yeah. See,
Or like, yeah,
that's
why are you so happy? Like, why are you always laughing? Like, why are you so cheerful? You know, et cetera, et cetera. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
And that phrase like don't dull your shine, like that's what I think of, like when someone or many people have told you to be quieter, to be duller.
yeah,
um it's
yeah,
so hurtful.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So it is.
Yeah.
Well, how do you, to answer your own question about, you know, when someone comes in and is expressing, I don't know, there's something that you're picking up on that um, relates to Leo. What do you notice for yourself, or what do you notice like and how you want to work with that?
It really depends on the question they're coming for.
Yeah,
um I mean, that's like such an annoying response right now. Like it
I
really
know.
depends on everything else that we don't know. We can't talk about our podcast, but it's like there was a client once where we talked about everything but the Leo energy in their
Mm.
chart.
Mm.
um and I was curious, like, so how do you receive appreciation? How do you give appreciation, and how important is that to you? I think that was like probably my question, and it was really important to talk about. And I won't share details, but just that question of like, how do you feel gassed up? Like, how do you feel generosity from other people, and how do you express it? Is it the same? is it different? Why is it different? Why is it the same? Like, that is really interesting to me when I see a Leo placement. And usually there's a story there, kind of like what we were just talking about. Like, usually someone told them to shut up,
Yep.
you know, or someone really important in their life, like a parent or a grandparent, was like, you're too loud, or you're too like that. The Leo energy is often told they are too,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
maybe there's a wound of like, kind of, you mentioned, like being called fake, when really they just like really want to give their love. Like, the Leo energy, it's the sun. Like, the sun doesn't matter unless it's
Yeah. Yeah.
giving outwardly
Yeah.
love and light and joy. It's like the sun. If the sun wouldn't keep the energy to themselves,
Yeah.
but that doesn't even make sense to sun energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like what I would be curious about. And usually people who have Leo prominent placements do come with those questions. There's a lot of poets and playwrights and actors in my life who have expressed to me, who have Leo placements, that are like,
Yeah.
who have those kind of wounds of being told that they're too much, or
Oof.
that they compliment too much, or they don't receive the compliments that they're giving, which would feel
Yeah.
so good to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
Affirmation. If validation, affirmation is sun energy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how are the ways that Leo wants to receive love? We kind of know how they give love. I mean, compliments, like, you know, giving people energy, maybe even, I don't know, maybe physical touch. But
Enjoyment, like
yeah,
enjoying
like
a Leo.
quality time. Yeah.
Mm,
But but how do they want to be loved? I guess that also depends so much on the person's chart. But like, if we're just
okay.
focusing on the Leo archetype,
Yeah.
do you think they
Well,
also want to be doted on? They want affirmations. They want.
I think that really depends on their Venus sign,
Mm,
what's happening with Venus.
mm,
That's such a complex question. The Leo archetype, though, is like enjoyment, entertainment, play, you know,
mhm. Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I just want people to play with
validation.
me. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, play with me. Yeah, like, I don't need you. I don't need you to work for 10 years straight for me. I need you to play with me. Like, you know, like when you hear about
Mhm.
what's that story by like O. Henry, the the Gift of the Magi. Do you know that story?
Oh, I probably read that a long time ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the gist of the story is that there's a couple. The woman in the couple has long, beautiful hair, and the man in the couple has a beautiful watch or something.
Mm.
Probably getting it wrong. The woman goes and cuts her hair off so that she can have money to get a chain for his watch or something like that.
Oh.
And then he goes and sells his watch so he can get her a beautiful comb for her
Oh.
long, beautiful hair. And at the end of the story is like, it's like a tragic, like, uh-oh, error. But the way
Oh.
I perceive that is like, they're sacrificing so
Yeah.
that each other's like core, like, physical object of some sort is being appreciated or enhanced in
Mhm.
some way. And that is the gift, is
Yeah.
sacrificing each other. And I don't know where I'm getting with this, but like, Leo energy is like, it's not necessarily that you have to do or get or go 300 steps for something. It's like you simply enjoying them or sacrificing for them, or like simply
Mhm.
acknowledging that there's such an incredible presence in your life.
Mhm.
That's how you love Leo.
Mhm.
That's a
That's
bold
sweet.
statement.
That's really sweet. We didn't even talk about the sexual energy of Leo. Yeah.
Oh, the life force, the chi.
The chi. Yeah. It's potent.
Yeah, I think that's where we can end this episode.
It's sensual. It's like,
Yeah.
it feels really like, yeah, it just feels sensual to me.
Mhm.
Yeah, the sexual
Like
side of Leo.
warmth, generosity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
everyone wishes for a generous partner.
Yeah.
Sexually. Love it. Okay,
Love it.
everyone, have fun. Have fun this week.
I already am. How about you?
Yeah. I feel appreciated. I feel doted upon.
Good. Well.
Okay, bye.
Oh, okay, bye.
Thank you for joining us for Parts and Charts, the IFS and Astrology Podcast. If something sparked insight or resonated with you, we'd love to hear from you.
No, really, we're here to make friends. Reach out to us. Leave a comment, subscribe, and if you feel called, share this episode with someone you care about. Or, if you want to work with us one-on-one and go deeper with this work, check the link in the show notes for how to find us.
Until next time, may all of you feel a part of the family.